Thanks for stopping by, and welcome to People-Centered Manufacturing during COVID times. It is strange to participate virtually, but I'm happy to be part of this effort to keep us moving towards this health crisis. My name is Heinz Avendano, and I will start by telling you a little story about myself. I have a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering, and I finished my master's in organizational psychology last year. You may wonder, why an engineer will study psychology? Well, I'm very passionate about people and the study of people at work. I have over 25 years experience in manufacturing, and the last 10 years of those, I have spent way more time with people than with machines or technology. I don't think this is very uncommon for professionals. It just happened that I got very interested on people's behaviors. I have some data that may or not may shock you, but I think it's very relevant so we can create some context before we start talking about psychological health in the workplace. Mental Health America did a survey from June 1st, 2015 to March 1st, 2017 with 17,140 responses. Here you have some of the results. The frustration of stress from my job causes me to engage in unhealthy behaviors, such as drinking or crying regularly. 63% of the participants agreed to this question. The second result I want to show you is that 35% of respondents always miss 3 to 5 days because of workplace stress. I find this almost disturbing. In fact, the fact that the responses indicates always. And the last result I'm going to show you from this survey show manufacturing as one of the top unhealthiest industries. I'm not really surprised about this particular result, but it is important to emphasize that we, manufacturers, are part of this unfortunate group of people. The point I want to make from these stats is that there is a large room for improvement in psychological health in the workplace. This is the roadmap of our presentation today. I will start with the actual case study of Primex during COVID times. Then I will review some important concepts of well-being and link them back to Primex as an example of people-centered manufacturing. At the end, I will give you one way to improve a structure and put things into motion to your own psychological health in the workplace. Does that sound like a plan? All right. Let's start talking about the case of Primex Technologies. Like many other businesses, Primex has multiple challenges and opportunities for improvement. But I like to focus on some aspects that I believe we can all learn about. This is the background. Primex is a telecommunication company located in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. We were established in 1974, and our vision is to connect the people of the world by creating value at every point along the network. We have around 177 employees. We were acquired last year by Oldcastle, which is also owned by CRH, a 25 billion euros company worldwide. Primex has a bright future with a rapid and steady revenue increase in our telecommunications business through all North America. Let's watch this quick video for Primex.
We listen to our customers' stories and learn about their challenges. We create innovative products based on those needs. With over 1 million Soho Pro media panels installed in homes across North America, we've been making smart enclosures before homes were smart. It started with one German engineer a brilliant injection molder who knew how to create designs for others. He listened to the industry's problems, anticipated customers' needs, and began to customize solutions for them. Plastic, a lighter, more Wi-Fi transparent material than metal, lent itself well to the demands of our partners. Our rugged wave outside plant enclosures bring connectivity into the home, where the Soho Pro media panels distribute the signal throughout. From our foundation of supporting service providers to builders and now smart home integrators, we know enclosures. Collaboration with customers led to the first Soho Pro media panels. Customers told us they needed a lightweight solution for housing Wi-Fi and fiber optic installations in new homes. It had to be robust in size and utility, yet low profile in design. A seamless and easy fit into homes was key. We listened, and then we exceeded our customers' expectations. The Soho Pro P3000 became the standard. Since then, we've added to the Soho Pro media panel with more sizes and options in response to our customers' needs. From the retrofit Soho Pro PR2300 media panel that quickly adds smart home functionality to existing homes, to the Soho Pro PR1500 media panel with its patented smart lid, we continue listening to industry needs. And we've continued solving problems by providing first-time, on-time, every-time service, creating a range of unique component mounting systems, expanding our support department, and being the first plastic enclosure company to become UL 2416 compliant. Years of trusted partnerships have empowered us to install more plastic enclosures than all of our competitors combined and become Primex strong. Now it's your turn. What can we do for you?
Now, the world stopped in March, as we all experience it. And Primex had to reinvent itself on a daily basis as we learn bits and pieces about this invisible foe. In addition, we bought a business in the US just before the borders were closed and our demand in our regular products in the US increased. The complexity of the business changed really quick, and we had to respond with lots of overtime and subcontracting in multiple places in the US and also here locally in Langley, while we were struggling with our new processes to protect our employees. You know, mandatory use of masks, social distancing, dividers, sanitation, all those protocols that we are all familiar by now. So let's talk about Primex now. This is October 2020. We told our employees in March that they could go home if they will not feel safe working. Most vulnerable employees took time off, but Primex didn't stop one single day. Just to make things more complicated, all senior managers, including myself, were quarantined by the government of British Columbia when we came back from Minnesota in the middle of March. So we had to control the Langley plant and the new business in the US fully remotely. Manufacturing and supply chain have been really challenged to meet the new demands, but we feel we are turning the new business around. Absentism. We observe an unprecedented peak of absenteeism during March and April, the worst time of the pandemic in British Columbia. But by May, we return to our normal absenteeism. In September, we broke a new safety record of days without time loss accidents, 297 days and still counting. This result is very relevant, and I find it quite interesting because I was expecting the opposite with all the challenges and distractions that we have gone through. In May, we did a partial engagement survey and to monitor our engagement with the following results. 97% of all participants feel happy or satisfied with the work they do at Primex. 99% of participants believe our leadership team demonstrated compassion for employees during the crisis. And 100% of the participants believe our company has taken actions and measures to keep their employees safe. We also found opportunities, of course, and we came up for performance, feedback, and appreciation with 80 and 86%. These numbers are not particularly low, but can be higher. In summary, the results seem to suggest a fair resilience to change and adversity at Primex. The photo on the right is a group of operators doing their warm-ups and social distancing while they are using their PPE. Just in case you are wondering what they're doing in this photo. Now, before we look into the factors that I believe contributed to these results, let's talk about some of the psychological aspects in the workplace. Well-being. At the most basic level, well-being is happiness or satisfaction. And for the purpose of this presentation, it is not necessary to make a distinction between these two terms. If I say I'm happy or very satisfied with my life, I'm sure my psychological well-being is also high. Research on this topic looks at happiness scores and how people score on life factors, such as marriage, friendship, income, and so on. And they produce the same results. Greater happiness is associated with better results on life factors. Researchers have also found that happiness precedes important outcomes, such as fulfilling and productive work, satisfying relationships, and superior mental and physical health and longevity. We will not talk about physical well-being, but we will focus on social and mental. Let's move then into social well-being. Gemeinschaftsgefühl. Simple, right? Okay, please don't feel intimidated by such a long word. Germans love to put words together and make new ones that you need to take air before you can pronounce it. Gemeinschaftsgefühl is one fundamental principle in Adlerian theory, which means community feeling. Alfred Adler was a member of Freud's group and separated to create his own school of thought. Between 1920 and around 1937, he focused on the need of every person to belong to the community and to feel he or she has a place. The person who believes has a place can spend his energies on contribution rather than on proving his status. In Adler's theory, social interest is the most fundamental process by which the individual can fulfill his or her true human potential. And here you have Alfred himself speaking. Every human being strives for significance, but people always make mistakes if they don't see that their whole significance must consist in their contributions to the life of others. Think about this. When was the last time you felt you were significant? It is likely that it was through your contribution to your team or your community. Gemeinschaftsgefühl in motion at Primex. These are some examples of group processes that involve trust, respect, and promote shared decisions making that most likely will stimulate the growth of social interest. Gemeinschaftsgefühl. Safety interventions. Safety interventions are highly important. We believe we must address an unsafe situation right away when a person is in danger, rather than reporting to the supervisor, for example. Every month, we select the best safety intervention and we write a newsletter around it. Diversity and multiculturalism. We have more women than men on the production floor, and we are represented by more than 20 countries. This photo you see here is our team promise. First time, on time, every time, on all the different languages that our teams can speak. It is really important to celebrate multiculturalism every time we can. Protection against bullying and harassment is very basic, but highly important. Openness and collaboration, these two are values of ours as we practice them as much as we can. Our president walks the plant every day, and we both are always ready to talk and answer any questions. Coaching for success. This is an interesting process where managers sit down with their team members and review challenges and successes and explore opportunities to help each other. And it's very important to say that it doesn't matter if personal goals are out of Primex. We prefer to help someone to work somewhere else if they are not happy at Primex or we cannot meet their own expectations. Engagement. We celebrate often. Safety record, sales record, Diwali, Vaisakhi, Chinese New Year, summer, perfect attendance, and continuous improvement. Now, continuous improvement, this is a process that goes through the whole organization. We have a dedicated room for continuous improvement. This room has a photographic gallery with all our achievements. Just picture a room with all these photos hanging on the wall. I believe creativity requires space and time. Time for thinking and pondering ideas. And of course, the more people contribute, the better your Gemeinschaftsgefühl will be. The guy with the hat is me at Saturn Island, looking south to US. Pretty cool, eh? Okay, we talk about social well-being. So let's now talk about mental well-being. What is mental health? Mental health is a positive sense of well-being, or the capacity to enjoy life and deal with the challenges we face. Manufacturing is typically an environment with clear measures of productivity and competition. One specific factor that has been linked with productivity is whether the employees feel that the organization shows concern for their well-being. Other studies in organizations have shown positive relationships between psychological well-being and job performance. In general, people with higher level of psychological well-being are more optimistic, resilient in the face of setbacks, and have a stronger belief in their own abilities. A fundamental part of mental health in the workplace is training and awareness, which can go from basic definitions to tools such as mindfulness or interpersonal social skills. Samples of interpersonal social skills are active listening and emotional intelligence. One recent training that we are providing to all employees is psychological first aid, self-care, and care for others, with great positive feedback. This training provides a mental evaluation and the tools to develop your personal plan to cope with the stress. Red Cross offers 1 hour online training for $20. This is how we are covering all employees. And it is through this training that we have been able to connect employees with people who can actually help them to get better. Red Cross have this excellent model that is called look, listen, link, and live. Coaching. We talked about this before. Well, we were talking about coaching for success. I'm just going to add that this is a process of helping someone to make the best decisions through talking and asking questions. A good coach doesn't have to know all the answers, but he or she must know the right questions. There is also training for these techniques. There is even a certification in coaching. And lastly, of course, professional psychologist services. Lastly, as we said in our presentation roadmap at the start, I want to talk to you about the psychological health and safety standard in the workplace. This is an excellent tool that can provide a structure to your systems. We engineers love structure anyway, right? So this is the first standard of its kind, and it's proudly Canadian. We're working on its implementation, and people familiar with ISO system, which I'm pretty sure many of us are, will find some similarities in terms of a structure, of course. This voluntary standard has been developed from a large body of scientific literature from health, safety law, and social science, which supports the value of psychological health in the workplace. Here you have a quick video that explains much more.
Every day, millions of Canadians go to work. But every week, about 500,000 Canadians cannot because of a mental health problem or illness. And since most of us spend around 60% of our waking hours at work, ensuring our workplaces are psychologically safe is important business. But when it comes to health and safety in the workplace, we sometimes only think about physical health. Mental health? Well, it's just not top of mind. But here's why it should be. The cost of mental health problems and illnesses to the Canadian economy is at least $51 billion per year. Employers can see the impact through things like absenteeism, lost productivity, and high turnover. It's a hefty price to pay. The workplace should provide an opportunity to feel productive and thrive. When we're not well, it affects everything we do, at home and at work. While people don't come with a maintenance manual, there is a process organizations can and should follow to prevent harm and promote overall mental wellness. It's called the National Standard for Psychological Health and Safety in the Workplace, and it's the first of its kind in the world. Developed in Canada and used by countless organizations and companies, it's the roadmap for employers to create a mentally healthier workplace. The standard is all about shifting workplace culture to value mental health and safety as much as we do physical health and safety. It provides a framework to assess your current workplace, set objectives, and take action to enhance the programs, policies, benefits, and training you already have in place at work. The standard is voluntary, and there's no single prescribed way to implement it. It's designed to allow for flexibility and customization to effectively implement in your unique organization. But sometimes that leaves employers wondering how to get started. The Mental Health Commission and its partners have created resources to help. Start by downloading the standard and looking at what policies and procedures you already have in place. The Assembling the Pieces Guide and Toolkit will take you step by step through implementing the standard. You could also take advantage of training resources like Being a Mindful Employee, a free online program that introduces employees to the factors that impact mental health and what we can all do to support our coworkers and ourselves. People are your most valuable assets. Commit to creating a psychologically safe work environment and help your employees thrive inside and outside the workplace. You can do this. Start today. Visit mentalhealthcommission.ca.
Thank you very much for joining this presentation. hoping to be able to see you in person in a near future. Meanwhile, stay safe and healthy. I'm now open for questions from the audience.